Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the worries and challenges of daily life? Wondered if there is a simple way to find peace and calm amidst the chaos? Imagine if a small story, shared quietly, could help heal your heart and lift your spirit. This video will bring you such stories. Zen stories that hold deep wisdom and healing power. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, a place where ancient teachings meet everyday life. Here, we explore powerful stories from Zen and Buddhism that can help you find calm, joy, and clarity. Our hope is that each story touches your heart and inspires you to grow in kindness and understanding. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue sharing these valuable messages with more seekers like you. In this first part, we begin our journey with an open heart and curious mind. Zen is not just a philosophy or religion. It's a way to live fully in the present moment. It teaches us to see what is already here, without adding fear or judgment. Through simple stories, Zen offers lessons on letting go, embracing change, and finding peace right where we are. We often think happiness is something outside us, tied to reaching goals or changing our world. But Zen shows us that true healing comes from within. It's about transforming how we see ourselves and the life around us. You will hear stories of monks, ordinary people, and wise teachers. They speak in gentle, clear ways that anyone can understand. Their words invite us to pause, breathe, and listen carefully to what life is teaching us. As you watch, remember that this journey is yours. Open yourself to these stories, not as puzzles to solve, but as seeds planted in your heart. Over time, these seeds may bloom into calmness, courage, and compassion. So stay with us, deeply and patiently. Let these Zen stories heal you one gentle step at a time. Your peaceful path begins here. Understanding Zen roots in Buddhism and its unique teachings. Let us sit together and gently explore what Zen truly is, where it comes from, and why it has touched so many hearts across the world. Zen is a special path deeply connected to Buddhism. Long ago, in ancient India, the Buddha shared teachings to help people find freedom from suffering. These teachings traveled across lands and seas, reaching China, where a unique expression of Buddhism blossomed. This is what we call Zen. Zen means meditation or quiet contemplation. It's not just about sitting silently, but about awakening to the present moment with full awareness. Imagine a calm lake. When the surface is still, the water reflects the sky clearly. In the same way, Zen invites us to calm our restless minds so we can see life as it really is, without the fog of worry, fear, or confusion. One of the essentials of Zen is simplicity. The Buddha's profound truths are often hidden in simple acts and everyday moments. It is said that enlightenment is not found in complicated rituals or grand ideas, but in the ordinary: breathing, walking, eating, and listening with full attention. This simplicity is a bright light in a world that can feel overwhelming and crowded with noise. Zen's roots in Buddhism mean it shares many important ideas, like understanding suffering and the way to end it. The Buddha taught that life includes pain and difficulty, but through mindful living and wisdom, suffering can be transformed. Zen takes this teaching and expresses it through direct experience. It encourages us to see the truth for ourselves rather than holding tight to beliefs or theories. A story from the great Zen master Bodhidharma helps us understand this better. When asked how to achieve enlightenment, he simply said, "Don't depend on texts. Don't seek outside yourself. His words teach us that Zen is about looking inward, observing our mind without judgment, and being present with what is like the mirror reflecting reality exactly, without adding or subtracting anything. Zen also emphasizes living in the here and now. Often, we get caught up in regrets of the past or worries about the future. Zen asks us to bring our attention back to this very moment, where life is truly happening. When we do this, we begin to notice small joys. A smile, a breeze, the warmth of sunlight that we might otherwise miss. In Zen, meditation is the doorway to this awareness. But meditation is not something mysterious or difficult. The simply paying close and kind attention, whether sitting quietly or doing simple tasks, like washing dishes with full mindfulness, or walking slowly and noticing each step, these moments become opportunities to connect deeply with life. Another important teaching in Zen is non-attachment. This means not clinging to things, ideas, or feelings. When we hold too tightly, we create stress and suffering. Zen shows us how to let go gently, like releasing a bird from a cage, trusting that life will flow naturally. This doesn't mean we stop caring, but that we learn to accept change and uncertainty with peace. The practice of Zen is often guided by teachers who don't just explain ideas but lead by example. Zen masters use stories, questions, and sometimes even silence to awaken students' insight. Their teaching points subtly toward freedom, a freedom beyond words and concepts, a direct experience of being alive. The rainbow of Zen is colorful yet clear, deep yet simple. It invites us to explore life with an open heart, free from fear and doubt. Each moment can be a doorway to wisdom, healing, and joy. The roots of Zen and Buddhism remind us that this path is ancient and trusted, woven from the lived experiences of thousands who sought peace and found it not far away, but within themselves. As you walk this path with gentle steps, remember that Zen is less about arriving somewhere and more about coming home. Home to the natural calm and clarity that have always been inside you. These teachings aren't distant or abstract. They are as close as your next breath, waiting quietly to guide you into healing and understanding. So, we continue gently, uncovering these precious insights from Zen and Buddhism, learning how to embrace life fully, no matter its ups and downs. The journey inward is the most beautiful journey of all, a journey into the heart of peace and wisdom. Mindfulness as a path to transformation. Let us gently continue our journey and open our hearts to a beautiful teaching in Zen mindfulness. Mindfulness is the simple yet powerful art of being fully present and aware of each moment as it unfolds. It is like holding a clear, bright lantern that illuminates the path, helping us see what truly is, without judgment, without rushing. In our busy lives, learning mindfulness can be a healing gift, leading us toward peace and transformation. Think about a time when you were so caught up in thoughts about the past or worries about the future that you missed the small miracles happening around you. A bird singing, the warmth of the sun, or a smile shared with someone dear. Mindfulness invites us to slow down and meet these moments with an open heart. It teaches us gently to rest in what is here, right now. One of the treasures of mindfulness is its accessibility. You don't need special tools or a quiet mountain to practice it. It can be as natural as noticing your breath as you sit, feeling the ground beneath your feet as you walk, or tasting your food slowly. When you pay kind attention like this, life becomes richer, calmer, and more joyful. In Zen, mindfulness is more than a practice. It is a way of being. It flows through every action and thought, guiding us out of distraction and into clarity. When the mind is mindful, it ceases to wander in endless worries or regrets. Instead, it sees each moment fully, responding with wisdom rather than fear. Consider the story of a young monk who was troubled by anger and frustration. One day, his teacher took him outside and asked him to look closely at a flower. The young monk watched the flower's petals, the changing colors, the delicate shape. As he observed with full attention, his anger began to melt away, replaced by a quiet appreciation of life's simple beauty. This story reminds us that mindfulness can transform even our hardest emotions by opening space for presence and understanding. Mindfulness also helps us become aware of our thoughts and feelings without being controlled by them. Imagine watching clouds float across the sky. You notice each cloud without trying to hold on to it or push it away. In the same way, mindfulness lets us watch our thoughts and emotions come and go, revealing their temporary nature. This gentle observation can free us from habits that cause suffering and open the door to healing. Another remarkable effect of mindfulness is its power to connect us deeply with ourselves and others. When we are mindful, we listen more fully and respond with kindness. We become more patient and compassionate, not only toward others but also toward our own imperfections. This kindness is a balm for the heart, soothing worries and fears. Let us remember that mindfulness does not mean being perfect or always calm. It means being present even when life is messy or painful. It means meeting ourselves with understanding and patience. This acceptance is a seed of healing that grows stronger each time we return to the present moment. In the daily rhythm of life, mindfulness turns ordinary activities into moments of meditation. Washing dishes, walking to the store, or drinking tea, each can be a chance to connect deeply with now. The secret is to bring our full attention and gentle curiosity to what we are doing, allowing stillness and peace to arise naturally. Zen teaches us that mindfulness is the foundation for all other wisdom and compassion. Without mindfulness, we are like a ship lost in fog, sailing without direction. With mindfulness, we have the clear light of awareness to guide us safely through life's challenges and joys. As we practice mindfulness, we begin to understand the true nature of ourselves and the world around us. We see that everything changes, and clinging only causes pain. With mindfulness, we learn to embrace change and uncertainty with courage and grace. The path of mindfulness is not always easy, but it is always worth taking. Each mindful breath, each moment of awareness, plants a seed of peace that can blossom into a life filled with joy and healing. Over time, mindfulness becomes a friend that walks beside us, steadying us when winds blow and celebrating with us under sunny skies. So, let us welcome mindfulness as a gentle guide on our journey. Let us practice being fully here, fully alive, and fully open to the precious gift of this moment. With each step, we move closer to healing and transformation, carrying the light of mindful presence into every corner of our lives. May this path lead you softly to a heart filled with peace, clarity, and endless kindness. The simple power of mindfulness is waiting, always ready to help us heal and grow. Let us walk together in this beautiful way, one mindful moment at a time. The power of letting go, non-attachment in Zen. Let us gently explore one of the most freeing teachings in Zen, the power of letting go. In this fast-moving world, we often hold tightly to things: our dreams, our fears, our memories, and even the way we think life should be. Yet Zen invites us to see how this holding on can weigh down our hearts and minds. Non-attachment is not about being cold or uncaring. It is a warm and gentle way of opening ourselves to life as it truly is, with all its changes and flows. Imagine holding a handful of sand too tightly. What happens? The grains slip through your fingers no matter how hard you try to keep them. When we cling too tightly to people, outcomes, or ideas, we create invisible chains that bind us to suffering. But when we learn to open our hands and let the sand fall freely, we find grace and ease in the natural movement of life. Zen teaches that everything in life is in constant change. Just like the seasons, nothing stays the same forever. The flowers bloom and fade, the rivers flow and shift. When we accept this truth with a soft heart, we stop fighting the way things are and start flowing with them. This acceptance is an act of courage and wisdom. It is not giving up, but rather trusting life's unfolding. One story tells of a master and a disciple walking through a village. The disciple was anxious about a problem, holding onto his worries tightly. Seeing this, the master paused by a flowing river and asked him to throw his worries into the water like leaves. The disciple hesitated, afraid to lose what mattered to him. The master smiled and said, "When you hold tightly, your hands are full and you cannot receive new blessings." This story reminds us that letting go creates space for new joy, new learning, and new peace. Non-attachment in Zen also means freeing ourselves from fixed ideas about who we are or what the world should be. Often, we define ourselves by our rules, successes, or failures. Zen invites us to see beyond these labels to the deeper self, the simple awareness that watches and knows. When we do this, life becomes less about proving and more about being. Letting go does not mean ignoring responsibilities or not caring for others. On the contrary, it allows us to love more freely, without clinging or fear. When we let go of expecting things to be a certain way, we can embrace the present moment and the people in it with open hearts. This is a beautiful form of compassion. Our minds are naturally inclined to hold on, to grasp at thoughts and feelings as if they ensure our safety. Zen encourages us to notice these impulses with kindness and curiosity. Like watching clouds drift across the sky, we observe worries and desires without judgment. This gentle awareness helps us see that these thoughts come and go, like passing weather, not permanent truths. A Zen master once said, "The moon does not hold to the water does not hold to the moon." This poetic image shows the dance between presence and letting go. The moonlight touches the water but does not try to capture it. In the same way, we can be fully present with life's beauty and pain, holding it lightly and freely. In everyday life, practicing non-attachment might look like noticing when we start to cling, whether to a particular outcome, an opinion, or even a mood, and gently reminding ourselves that all things are changing. It takes practice and patience, but each time we do this, we strengthen our freedom and peace. Letting go is also deeply healing for our hearts. When we release grudges, regrets, and fears, we open space for forgiveness and joy. This healing is not about forgetting but about making peace with what has been, so we can move forward lightly. Zen stories often use simple yet powerful images to teach non-attachment, like the story of a leaf floating down a stream, guided by the current. The leaf does not resist, it does not grab hold. It trusts the flow and finds its way effortlessly. This trust is at the heart of Zen practice. Non-attachment is not something to achieve in the future. It is a moment-to-moment choice. Each time we choose to let go of our tight grip on life's events, we taste a bit of freedom. With practice, this freedom grows, and the heart becomes lighter, clearer, and more joyful. This teaching is a reminder that we are not the heavy burden carriers we sometimes think we are. We are beings of lightness and grace, invited to dance with life's changes. Each moment of letting go is a step toward healing, a step into the vast peace that lies beneath all our struggles. So, as we walk gently through our days, let us remember the power of opening the hands and the heart. Letting go is not losing, but gaining the chance to live fully, freely, and with deep love. The path of non-attachment leads us into wisdom, courage, and a warmth that touches everything we meet. May this teaching rest softly in your heart, helping you release what no longer serves and embrace life's endless flow with trust and tenderness. The power of letting go is a gift, waiting for each of us to accept it with open arms. Parables of peace, stories for quieting the mind. Let us continue our gentle journey into the heart of Zen by exploring the beauty of stories. Simple, gentle parables that carry a deep peace within them. In Zen, stories aren't just for telling. They are like soft whispers to the soul, ways to calm the restless mind and bring us back to a quiet place inside. Parables are small yet powerful lights that guide us to clarity, healing, and a gentle peace that can soothe even the busiest thoughts. Imagine feeling like your mind is always busy, like a storm with wild winds and crashing waves. The parables in Zen work like a calm island in that storm, quieting the chaos and inviting you to rest. These stories don't just give answers. Instead, they open a space for you to look inside, to listen with your heart rather than just your ears, and to feel a stillness growing within. One such story is of a young woman who came to a wise Zen master, her mind tangled with worries and fears. She asked, "How can I find peace when life is so full of struggle?" The master smiled softly and handed her a cup of tea. He began to pour the tea steadily, but he didn't stop when the cup was full. The tea began to spill over, dripping onto the table. "Why do you keep pouring when the cup is full?" the woman asked. "Like this cup," said the master. "Your mind is full of worries. To find peace, you must first empty your cup." This story teaches us the gentle lesson of letting go of our busy thoughts, to create space for peace to enter. Another parable tells of a student who traveled long to ask the master about enlightenment. The master asked him, "What do you bring with you?" The student showed him a heavy sack filled with scrolls and books. The master said calmly, "Knowledge is good, but enlightenment comes not from carrying many things but from shedding burdens." This story reminds us that peace often comes when we simplify, when we stop holding tightly onto ideas that block our clear seeing. Zen parables are often quiet, but their silence speaks loudly. They invite us to slow down, to sit with the story like a gentle breeze, and let it settle softly into our hearts. These stories are not puzzles to solve, but spaces to enter and rest in. A space where the busy mind can uncover calm. Consider the parable of the lost key. A man searched everywhere for his lost key. After hours, the wise master asked if he was searching in the right place. The man replied, "No, I am searching under this bright street light because it is easier to see." The master laughed gently and said, "Look instead where you lost it. Even if it's dark, sometimes peace and truth hide where we least expect, beyond what seems bright and easy." This story teaches patience and courage, to look beyond distractions and settle into the truth, even if it feels unclear. We live in a world full of noise and demands, and our minds often echo that noise. Zen parables remind us to come back to what is simple and true. like the quiet lotus growing unstained from the mud. These stories show us how to remain peaceful and clear amid confusion. One of the most beautiful aspects of these parables is how they work not by telling us what to think, but by allowing us to feel deeply and discover meaning ourselves. This discovery is like opening a flower petal by petal until the full bloom of understanding unfolds gently inside. Zen stories also teach us the art of patience. Just as a seed takes time to become a tree, the wisdom carried by these parables grows best when we return to them again and again, letting their quiet truth ripple through our lives slowly and steadily. There is a timeless story of a monk who asked the master, "How can I quiet the noise in my mind?" The master responded with a single word, "Listen." The monk was puzzled. "Listen to what?" he asked. The master smiled and said, "Listen to the silence around and within you. In this silence, the mind finds rest." This parable guides us to the healing power of simply being present and listening deeply, not to words or worries, but to the calm that exists beneath them. Sometimes Zen parables come wrapped in paradox like a koan. These are stories that don't have straightforward answers, only questions that push us gently beyond ordinary thinking. For example, the question, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" invites us to step outside our usual way of knowing and feel the mystery of life directly, beyond logic. Sitting with such questions can quiet the restless mind by shifting focus from searching outward to resting inward. When our minds spin with endless thoughts, these stories bring us back to a place of balance. They remind us that peace is not a far destination but a quiet home we carry inside. They teach us to slow down, to notice the small miracles in daily life. A breath, a smile, a moment of stillness, and to cherish them as precious gifts. Parables often speak of ordinary things, a flower, a cup of tea, a river, but these ordinary images hold extraordinary wisdom. Through them, Zen invites us to see with new eyes, to find joy in simplicity, and to meet life's challenges with calm and heart. These stories are gentle teachers, reminding us that healing comes little by little, in moments when we choose to pause and listen. They call us to find softness in our hearts and openness in our minds, allowing life's tough experiences to be met with steady kindness. We learn that peace is not about escaping difficulties but embracing them fully, just as the river accepts the stones along its way, flowing around them without struggle. The Zen parables encourage us to trust the flow of life and to rest in the steady calm that lies beneath every storm. Every time you return to these stories, may you find a little more peace, a little more ease, and a little more love growing quietly inside. Feel free to carry these parables like gentle companions in your daily life, ready to calm your mind whenever it becomes restless or weary. Remember, Zen stories do not give quick fixes, but offer a soft hand to hold as you walk your path. They honor the pace of your own unfolding, inviting you, always, to come home to the stillness of your own heart. May these gentle parables wrap you in peace and guide you softly toward healing. Like ripples on a quiet pond, may their calm spread through your life, touching all your days with a quiet and enduring peace. And as you rest in this peace, know you are stepping more fully into the heart of Zen itself, where healing lies, patiently and tenderly, waiting for you to awaken. The art of acceptance, embracing life's impermanence. As we continue our quiet journey into the heart of Zen, let us gently turn towards one of its most tender lessons, the art of acceptance. Acceptance is not about giving up or feeling defeated. Rather, it is about embracing life exactly as it is, with an open heart and a peaceful mind. It is realizing that everything changes, and learning to flow with those changes gracefully is the path toward true healing. Imagine the seasons of a year. Spring blooms with flowers, summer shines with warmth, autumn paints leaves in gold, and winter arrives with stillness and cold. Each season has its beauty and purpose, but none lasts forever. Life moves in this same rhythm, constant change, arrival and departure. Yet we humans often resist this natural flow, clinging tightly to moments, people, or feelings because we fear loss or the unknown. Zen teaches us that impermanence, the truth that all things come and go, is not a cause for sorrow but a reason to cherish each moment deeply. When we accept this, we stop struggling against life's natural tides and instead find gentle peace in riding them. One story tells of a monk who was struggling with sadness after losing a dear friend. His teacher sat beside him and said, "Look at the river. Does it stop flowing when a leaf falls into it? No, the river carries the leaf gently and keeps moving." This simple image reminds us that life continues, no matter what changes or losses we face. Holding on too tightly only brings suffering, but accepting what is allows healing. Acceptance means meeting life with openness, even when it is difficult or unexpected. Sometimes we want things to be different, to fix pain immediately, or to hold on to good times forever. Zen invites us to pause and breathe, trusting that even in hardship, there is light we cannot yet see. This doesn't mean we deny our feelings. Instead, acceptance means allowing sadness, fear, and joy to come and go without judgment or resistance. Like clouds in the sky, emotions may darken or brighten the mind, but they do not last forever. Observing them with a gentle heart helps us understand their fleeting nature and reduces their power over us. Another precious teaching in Zen is to accept ourselves fully, our strengths and weaknesses, our mistakes and gifts. When we stop fighting our own nature or punishing ourselves for being imperfect, a warm kindness arises within. This self-acceptance is a foundation on which peace and healing are built. We also learn acceptance by embracing the imperfections in others. When we let go of expectations and judgments, relationships become softer and more compassionate. We see people as they are, ever-changing, sometimes troubled, sometimes joyful, and we offer patience and love rather than resistance. A beautiful Zen parable speaks to this deeply. A master asked his student, "What is the sound of acceptance?" The student was puzzled until the master said, "It is the sound of the wind through bamboo, soft and free, moving around obstacles without breaking." This image invites us to live with the same gentle openness, bending when needed but never breaking under life's pressures. In daily life, practicing acceptance can be as simple as noticing when resistance arises. When plans change or unexpected challenges appear, take a moment to breathe and say silently, "This is how things are now." This simple acknowledgement opens the door to peace, even in the smallest moments. When we resist life's flow, our minds often create stories of should and must that only deepen our suffering. Zen teaches us to release these rigid ideas and meet each situation as it comes, with curiosity, clarity, and care. Acceptance also helps us let go of the past. Often, old regrets or hurts weigh heavily on the heart. By practicing acceptance, we allow those stories to rest and return our attention kindly to the present moment. Here, life is always fresh, and healing can begin again. Zen reminds us, too, that acceptance is not passive but a courageous and active way of living. It takes strength to face life's uncertainties without trying to control everything. But through this courage, a deep freedom arises, a freedom to be fully alive, no matter what unfolds. When we accept impermanence, each moment becomes precious and rich. We no longer waste energy fearing loss or clinging tightly to what cannot last. Instead, we drink deeply from the well of the present, finding joy in the simple gifts of now. A smile, a breath, a touch of sunlight. There is a well-known Zen saying, "This too shall pass." It is a reminder that both pain and pleasure are temporary guests. Holding this truth softly in our hearts helps us endure difficult times and appreciate good ones without grasping. Mindful acceptance also strengthens our connection with the natural world. Watching a flower bloom and fade, a bird take flight, or the sky change color teaches us about the beauty of letting go and the miracle of renewal. Through this connection, the heart learns to accept change as part of a vast, living dance. As we walk the path of Zen, acceptance invites us to uncover the stillness beneath all change. Though life flows endlessly, within us lies a quiet space untouched by storms, the calm heart of being. Tuning into this inner calm restores balance, healing, and a deep sense of belonging. Zen masters often emphasize returning to this inner refuge by embracing what is, moment by moment. Whether joy or sorrow visits, we welcome it with the same gentle openness, knowing that true peace is beyond all conditions. In your own life, let acceptance be a soft hand guiding you through challenges and gifts alike. Let it teach you how to release struggles that weigh heavy, how to open to possibility, and how to live with a heart that blooms fully, even in changing seasons. May acceptance settle gently on your spirit, bringing freedom from struggle and a warm embrace of life's precious impermanence. In this way, you move gracefully forward, healing step by step, carried by the quiet strength of knowing that every moment is complete as it is. With each breath, let acceptance deepen in your heart, opening the door to peace, healing, and a love that flows boundlessly through all things. This is the art of Zen, the beautiful acceptance of life's flow, inviting you always to come home to yourself. The art of acceptance, embracing life's impermanence. As we continue our quiet journey into the heart of Zen, let us gently turn towards one of its most tender lessons, the art of acceptance. Acceptance is not about giving up or feeling defeated. Rather, it is about embracing life exactly as it is, with an open heart and a peaceful mind. It is realizing that everything changes, and learning to flow with those changes gracefully is the path toward true healing. Imagine the seasons of a year. Spring blooms with flowers, summer shines with warmth, autumn paints leaves in gold, and winter arrives with stillness and cold. Each season has its beauty and purpose, but none lasts forever. Life moves in this same rhythm, constant change, arrival and departure. Yet we humans often resist this natural flow, clinging tightly to moments, people, or feelings because we fear loss or the unknown. Zen teaches us that impermanence, the truth that all things come and go, is not a cause for sorrow but a reason to cherish each moment deeply. When we accept this, we stop struggling against life's natural tides, and instead find gentle peace in riding them. One story tells of a monk who was struggling with sadness after losing a dear friend. His teacher sat beside him and said, "Look at the river. Does it stop flowing when a leaf falls into it? No, the river carries the leaf gently and keeps moving." This simple image reminds us that life continues, no matter what changes or losses we face. Holding on too tightly only brings suffering, but accepting what is allows healing. Acceptance means meeting life with openness, even when it is difficult or unexpected. Sometimes we want things to be different, to fix pain immediately, or to hold on to good times forever. Zen invites us to pause and breathe, trusting that even in hardship, there is light we cannot yet see. This doesn't mean we deny our feelings. Instead, acceptance means allowing sadness, fear, and joy to come and go without judgment or resistance. Like clouds in the sky, emotions may darken or brighten the mind, but they do not last forever. Observing them with a gentle heart helps us understand their fleeting nature and reduces their power over us. Another precious teaching in Zen is to accept ourselves fully, our strengths and weaknesses, our mistakes and gifts. When we stop fighting our own nature or punishing ourselves for being imperfect, a warm kindness arises within. This self-acceptance is a foundation on which peace and healing are built. We also learn acceptance by embracing the imperfections in others. When we let go of expectations and judgments, relationships become softer and more compassionate. We see people as they are, ever-changing, sometimes troubled, sometimes joyful, and we offer patience and love rather than resistance. A beautiful Zen parable speaks to this deeply. A master asked his student, "What is the sound of acceptance?" The student was puzzled until the master said, "It is the sound of the wind through bamboo, soft and free, moving around obstacles without breaking." This image invites us to live with the same gentle openness, bending when needed but never breaking under life's pressures. In daily life, practicing acceptance can be as simple as noticing when resistance arises. When plans change or unexpected challenges appear, take a moment to breathe and say silently, "This is how things are now." This simple acknowledgement opens the door to peace, even in the smallest moments. When we resist life's flow, our minds often create stories of should and must that only deepen our suffering. Zen teaches us to release these rigid ideas and meet each situation as it comes, with curiosity, clarity, and care. Acceptance also helps us let go of the past. Often, old regrets or hurts weigh heavily on the heart. By practicing acceptance, we allow those stories to rest and return our attention kindly to the present moment. Here, life is always fresh, and healing can begin again. Zen reminds us, too, that acceptance is not passive but a courageous and active way of living. It takes strength to face life's uncertainties without trying to control everything. But through this courage, a deep freedom arises, a freedom to be fully alive, no matter what unfolds. When we accept impermanence, each moment becomes precious and rich. We no longer waste energy fearing loss or clinging tightly to what cannot last. Instead, we drink deeply from the well of the present, finding joy in the simple gifts of now. A smile, a breath, a touch of sunlight. There is a well-known Zen saying, "This too shall pass." It is a reminder that both pain and pleasure are temporary guests. Holding this truth softly in our hearts helps us endure difficult times and appreciate good ones without grasping. Mindful acceptance also strengthens our connection with the natural world. Watching a flower bloom and fade, a bird take flight, or the sky change color teaches us about the beauty of letting go and the miracle of renewal. Through this connection, the heart learns to accept change as part of a vast, living dance. As we walk the path of Zen, acceptance invites us to uncover the stillness beneath all change. Though life flows endlessly, within us lies a quiet space untouched by storms, the calm heart of being. Tuning into this inner calm restores balance, healing, and a deep sense of belonging. Zen masters often emphasize returning to this inner refuge by embracing what is, moment by moment. Whether joy or sorrow visits, we welcome it with the same gentle openness, knowing that true peace is beyond all conditions. In your own life, let acceptance be a soft hand guiding you through challenges and gifts alike. Let it teach you how to release struggles that weigh heavy, how to open to possibility, and how to live with a heart that blooms fully, even in changing seasons. May acceptance settle gently on your spirit, bringing freedom from struggle and a warm embrace of life's precious impermanence. In this way, you move gracefully forward, healing step by step, carried by the quiet strength of knowing that every moment is complete as it is. With each breath, let acceptance deepen in your heart, opening the door to peace, healing, and a love that flows boundlessly through all things. This is the art of Zen, the beautiful acceptance of life's flow, inviting you always to come home to yourselves. Compassion in Zen, stories of heartful healing. Let us pause together, breathing in deeply, and open our hearts to one of the kindest and most gentle teachings of Zen: compassion. Compassion is the warm light that softens the hardest places inside us and around us. It is the call of the heart to care deeply for ourselves and others, and through this caring, to find healing and peace. In Zen, compassion is not separate from wisdom. They grow side by side, like two trees sheltering each other in a quiet forest. Imagine your heart as a garden. Compassion is the gentle water that nourishes the soil, helping flowers of kindness and understanding to bloom. When our hearts are touched by suffering, our own or another's, compassion invites us to respond with tenderness rather than judgment or avoidance. It is the practice of opening ourselves fully to the reality of pain, and yet choosing to bring warmth instead of coldness. In the world around us, suffering is everywhere, sometimes visible, other times hidden. People carry silent burdens, struggles that might never be spoken aloud. Zen teaches that when we develop compassion, we begin to meet these burdens not with fear or indifference, but with a heart that embraces softly and courageously. Through compassion, healing begins, both for the giver and the receiver. There is a beautiful old story from Zen that reveals the power of compassion. A disciple asked the master, "What should I do when I see others suffer?" The master replied simply, "Carry their suffering as if it were your own." This does not mean losing yourself or becoming overwhelmed, but stepping into a space of shared understanding, feeling the pain with an open heart and offering gentle presence. This presence, even without words, can be a powerful medicine. Compassion in Zen also includes kindness toward ourselves. Often we are harsh and critical, forgetting that we too are human, fragile, and imperfect. Zen invites us to look inward with the same kindness we offer to a dear friend in need. When you stumble or feel lost, try holding yourself with gentle care. Say softly, "It's okay to struggle. I am here for you." Another story speaks quietly about compassion. A monk was walking alone when he found a wounded bird struggling on the ground. Rather than turning away, the monk carefully picked the bird up and tended to its wounds. This simple act, done without expectation, became a teaching. True compassion is shown in small, quiet moments, in everyday acts of care. Zen compassion flows naturally from the understanding of interconnectedness, the deep truth that we are not separate from one another. When one part of the garden suffers, every part feels the loss. When we hurt, others feel that hurt too. This connectedness calls us to care beyond ourselves, inviting a healing flow of love that touches all beings. Compassion often asks for patience and courage. It's not always easy to face suffering or to open our hearts when we feel pain or grief. Sometimes the world can seem too full of sorrow. Yet Zen teaches that the very act of showing compassion, no matter how small, carries a great light. A story from a Zen master tells of a village struck by drought. People were desperate and afraid. The master encouraged them to come together, share what little water they had, and care for each other. In this simple sharing, the village found hope and strength. Compassion transformed fear into community, scarcity into generosity. This story reminds us that compassion is more than feeling. It is action. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is simply be present, listen deeply, or offer a hand without trying to fix everything. Compassion recognizes the limits of our control and yet does not give up on love. In our own lives, practicing compassion might start with a smile to a stranger, a helping hand to a neighbor, or a moment of true listening to a friend. It might mean forgiving someone who has hurt us or asking for forgiveness ourselves. Each act, however small, is a step toward healing. Zen teaches that compassion must be balanced with wisdom. While loving fully, we also learn when to protect our energy and set boundaries kindly. Compassion is not self-sacrifice but a healthy, wise engagement with the world that preserves our own well-being as well as others. Compassion opens the heart's door to forgiveness, the freeing of old hurts and resentments that trap us in pain. When we forgive, we do not condone harm but release its hold over our spirits. This release creates space for peace to grow. One of the most touching Zen parables tells of a man who was angry for many years at a friend who betrayed him. Finally, one day he decided to let go of his anger. As he did, he felt a lightness in his heart, as if a heavy stone had been lifted. That lightness was a gift of compassion, the freedom to love, heal, and move forward. True compassion in Zen is non-discriminating. It does not choose who deserves kindness and who does not. It flows equally to all beings, friends, strangers, even those who might seem difficult or wrong. This boundless kindness is a healing force in the world. When we cultivate compassion, we also nurture joy. This joy arises not from ignoring suffering but from the deep satisfaction of caring well. It is a radiant peace that shines even in difficult times, reminding us of the goodness that remains. The practice of compassion is continuous, a daily unfolding path. Sometimes it challenges us, asking for strength to face pain or disappointment. At other times, it gently lifts us, deepening our connection to life's beauty. Remember, compassion does not mean having all the answers or fixing every wound. Sometimes the greatest kindness is patience, holding space for ourselves or others, trusting that healing happens in its own time. In the quiet moments of compassion, a miracle takes place. The heart softens, walls come down, and a gentle light spreads within. This light can touch even the darkest places, transforming loneliness into belonging, fear into trust. As you walk this path, may compassion be your companion. Let it lead you softly toward healing for yourself and for all beings. May your heart open like a flower in the sun, warmed by kindness, nourished by love. With each step guided by compassion, may you find peace growing deeper and wider. May the stories of Zen remind you that healing is always possible and that love, above all, is the greatest healer. Let us continue together with open hearts, carrying this light of compassion gently into every moment, every breath, every connection, healing ourselves and the world, one loving step at a time. From suffering to liberation, turning pain into wisdom. Let us gently gather close and explore one of the most profound teachings of Zen, the path from suffering to liberation. Suffering is something we all know. It visits every heart at some time or another. Yet in Zen, suffering is not just a burden to bear. It is also a gateway, a teacher with deep wisdom waiting to reveal itself, guiding us gently toward freedom and healing. Imagine a rough stone, hard and unyielding on the outside. At first, it may seem nothing but weight and hardness. But if we patiently wear it down, soften it, and polish it, it can become a smooth, shining gem. Similarly, our pain and struggles, once embraced fully, can polish our hearts and minds until they shine with understanding and peace. Zen teaches us that suffering arises when we resist reality or cling too tightly to how we wish things to be. Life, however, moves with constant change, and when we try to hold onto the unchangeable, sorrow fills the gaps. The first step on the path of liberation is to acknowledge suffering truthfully, without denial or escape. There is a quiet courage in facing pain directly, as a river accepts stones in its flow. This courage is not about being strong in a loud or harsh way, but about a gentle strength that listens deeply to what is beneath the surface, without turning away. It is in this listening that transformation begins. A story tells of a monk who once asked his master, "Why must I suffer so much?" The master replied with great calm, "Suffering is the mud in which the lotus grows. Without mud, there can be no flower." This teaching invites us to see our struggles not as meaningless pain, but as the very ground from which healing and wisdom bloom. Zen does not promise to remove suffering like magic. Instead, it offers a way to walk through suffering with presence and awareness, discovering in this journey a deep liberation. This liberation is freedom, not freedom from life's difficulties, but freedom within them. Like the sky that holds both clouds and sun, the heart can contain pain and peace together. To turn pain into wisdom, Zen encourages us to look deeply into our experience. Instead of pushing away or ignoring discomfort, we learn to sit with it kindly, observing how it arises, changes, and passes away. This watching reveals the impermanent nature of suffering. It is not solid or eternal, but a passing current in the river of life. There is a wonderful practice in Zen called just sitting, or zazen. In this practice, we simply sit with our whole being without trying to fix or flee. We become witnesses to our own suffering and joy, learning to meet both with gentle acceptance. Over time, the sharp edges of pain soften, and a spacious calm appears. Another story shares how a disciple struggled with grief after losing a loved one. Day by day, the master invited him to breathe with the pain, to feel the sorrow fully without resistance. Though it was hard, the disciple found that by embracing his grief instead of fleeing it, the sorrow became a doorway to deeper peace and compassion for others' pain too. Zen teaches that suffering connects us all. Though it can feel lonely, our pain also links us in a web of shared human experience. This connection is a source of great compassion, reminding us that we are not separate in our struggles, but part of one heart. By facing suffering honestly, we learn humility and patience. We come to see our own limits and the limits of the world, but also the kindness that can arise in these places of hardship. The heart that understands pain becomes a heart that can also comfort others. Turning suffering into wisdom means seeing the lessons that pain offers, lessons of resilience, letting go, empathy, and clarity. Each difficulty carries a message if we are willing to listen. Like a tree bending in the wind without breaking, we learn to be flexible and strong through life's storms. The great Zen master Dogen said, "To study the Buddha way is to study the selves. To study the self is to forget the selves." This reminds us that liberation comes when we stop holding tightly to our limited self-image, especially the one shaped by suffering. When the self softens, we realize the vast, open sky of our true nature beyond pain. Suffering also teaches us about impermanence, not just in a distant, abstract way, but here and now, personally and deeply. Each moment of pain changes. Each breath is new. By seeing this clearly, we loosen fear and cling less, allowing healing to flow. Zen stories sometimes use images to carry this profound truths, like the story of a man who was stuck in a thorn bush. Struggling only made him more caught. When he stopped struggling and simply breathed, he found a way free. This teaches us that sometimes freedom comes from stillness, surrender, and gentle acceptance rather than force. Living with suffering also shifts our perspective on happiness. Instead of chasing fleeting pleasures or avoiding discomfort, we learn to find an unshakable peace that is not dependent on circumstances. This peace becomes a sanctuary we carry within, always accessible, no matter what outside storms arise. The path from suffering to liberation is a gradual unfolding. Sometimes it is slow and quiet, sometimes sudden and bright. Patience and kindness toward ourselves are the companions that make this journey possible. There is no rush, no failing, only continuous opening to life as it is. In everyday life, turning pain into wisdom may look like noticing when we feel upset or hurt, and instead of reacting with fear or anger, choosing a small step of awareness, breathing, pausing, or asking gently, "What is this teaching me?" Over time, these small acts build great strength and insight. Zen also reminds us that liberation is not escaping the world but fully embracing it, including all its beauty and pain, with a heart that is wide and welcoming. Like the ocean that holds both storms and calm waters, we learn to be spacious enough for all our experiences. As we walk this path with steady feet and a soft heart, may you find tenderness for your suffering and courage to face it. May the pain you carry be transformed, like the lotus from the mud, into light and wisdom that gently shines within you and touches the world. Remember, every moment of suffering holds the seed of awakening. Every breath is a chance to choose freedom. Let your heart open gently to this truth, knowing that healing flows naturally when we meet life with presence, compassion, and courage. May this teaching guide you softly from darkness into light, from struggle into peace, from pain into profound wisdom. The journey is yours to walk, and with each step, know you are moving closer to the quiet liberation that Zen offers. A liberation born from the deepest understanding and the warmest kindness. Let us continue with hearts open, embracing this path with gentle patience, allowing suffering to teach us and transform us, so that we may live fully healed, fully free, and fully alive. Simplicity and clarity. Zen tales for everyday living. Let us slow down together and gently enter the quiet world of simplicity and clarity. A sacred space in Zen where life becomes clear and gentle like a flowing stream. In this part of our journey, we discover that the heart of Zen is not complicated or distant. Instead, it lives deeply in the simple, ordinary moments we all share every day. These moments, when touched by clear awareness, open wide doors to peace, joy, and healing. Simplicity in Zen is like clearing away the clutter from a dusty room. When things are scattered and noisy, we feel lost and overwhelmed. But when we gently tidy the space inside our hearts and minds, everything becomes brighter and easier. Clarity is the light that shines in this clean space, showing us what truly matters and revealing the hidden beauty of life's gentle truths. Imagine waking up in the morning and feeling fully present with the first breath you take, the soft light filtering through the window, or the simple taste of your morning tea. These ordinary experiences hold treasures that often go unnoticed. Zen asks us to slow down and meet these gifts with fresh eyes and a quiet mind. When we do this, something remarkable happens. Life's complexity unfolds into clear, simple wisdom. A story often told in Zen circles beautifully illustrates this teaching. A student once asked the master, "How can I find clarity in life when there is so much confusion around me?" The master replied by holding up the small stone. "Look at this stone," he said. "It is exactly what it is, no more, no less." When your mind is like this stone, still, simple, and true, you see life clearly without distortion. This story reminds us that clarity comes not from grasping more but from being still and accepting what is, just as it is. In Zen, simplicity also means letting go of what is unnecessary. The thoughts that clutter our minds, the worries that weigh down our hearts, or the habits that distract us from the present. This is not about denying the world or our feelings, but about choosing carefully what to carry with us. Each moment is a chance to shed what does not serve and to hold only what brings peace and kindness. Another gentle tale tells of a farmer who lived simply, tending to his land with care and humility. A visitor asked, "Why do you live such a plain life while others chase wealth and fame?" The farmer smiled and said, "I have learned that the joy of living is in understanding what is enough. When you see clearly what nourishes your heart, you find peace without needing more." From this, we learn that knowing enough is a great freedom, a guarded treasure in a world that often encourages endless wanting. Clarity in Zen also points us to seeing things as they truly are, without adding stories or judgments. We often color our experience with worries about the past or fears for the future. Zen invites us to return again and again to the simple what is of the present, to look at life with honesty and calm. This clear seeing is like peeling away layers of fog, revealing the fresh air and bright sunlight beneath. One beautiful story is of a monk who saw a beautiful flower in a garden. Instead of rushing to pick it or to think about what it might mean, he simply looked at the flower, carefully, patiently, and without distraction. In that moment, the flower was just a flower, alive, bright, and pure. The monk's mind was calm and clear, and in that clarity he found joy. This teaches us that true happiness is often found not in chasing answers but in lovingly observing what already is. Simplicity and clarity also carry through to how we act in everyday life. When decisions become confusing or overwhelming, Zen encourages us to pause, breathe, and return to our inner stillness. From this quiet center, the right choice often reveals itself, not because it is complicated or perfect, but because it flows naturally from a peaceful heart. The practice of mindfulness, which we have touched upon before, helps us deepen this simplicity. By noticing each small detail, a breath, a sound, a step, we cultivate a clear mind that is fully present. Over time, we begin to see the whole of life as a series of simple, connected moments, each complete in itself. Zen tales remind us that simplicity is not a lack but a fullness, a richness found in the freedom from excess. This fullness nurtures contentment, patience, and gentle kindness. It allows us to meet life's challenges with calmness rather than anxiety, and to appreciate the small joys so easily lost in haste. Yet simplicity is not always easy to keep in a world filled with distractions. It requires gentle practice and a loving heart willing to return to the essentials again and again. Each time we choose simplicity, we clear more space for peace to grow. A well-known Zen story speaks of a man who was always busy searching for hidden treasures. After many years, he realized that the treasure was not buried far away but had been with him all along, in the simple moments of his everyday life. This realization brought him great happiness and calm. Clarity also helps us face difficult emotions and situations without being overwhelmed. When fear, anger, or sadness arise, a clear and simple mind sees these feelings as guests who come and go, not as permanent rulers of our hearts. This understanding brings healing, as we learn not to cling tightly, but to let emotions flow through us with gentle acceptance. There is a deep peace that comes from living simply and seeing clearly. Like a still lake that reflects the sky perfectly, our mind becomes a mirror, calm and true. In this peaceful clarity, wisdom arises naturally, and healing unfolds gently. The teachings of Zen encourage us to find this simple clarity not by escaping the world but by entering fully into each moment with a fresh heart. Whether in joy or difficulty, each breath is a chance to meet life as it is, bright, open, and whole. Let us carry this teaching with tenderness in our lives, learning to release complexities that cloud our vision and to welcome the quiet clarity that shines from within. May simplicity and clarity be soft anchors in the ever-changing sea of life, supporting you gently as you walk your path. May your days unfold with the beauty of simplicity, and may your mind be as clear as the morning sky. In this clarity, may you find peace, joy, and healing in every ordinary moment. The treasures of Zen are often found not in far places or grand ideas, but here in the simple, clear now, where your heart can rest and bloom. With gentle steps and an open heart, continue your journey into this beautiful way of living, carrying simplicity and clarity as faithful guides, leading you toward deep peace and radiant healing. Overcoming obstacles, lessons in resilience. Let us pause for a moment and breathe gently together as we step deeper into the wisdom of Zen. Today, we explore the teaching of resilience, the strength to overcome obstacles that life places in our path. Life is like a winding road, sometimes smooth and easy, sometimes rocky and steep. Every person faces difficulties, moments of doubt, loss, failure, or fear. Zen shows us how to meet these challenges not by resisting or running away, but by embracing them with courage, patience, and a quiet inner strength. Imagine a river flowing to the sea. It meets stones, fallen branches, and sharp bends along the way. But the river does not stop or break. It moves around, over, or under each obstacle, always continuing its journey. This is resilience, the power to keep going with flexibility and grace, even when things get hard. Zen teaches that every obstacle is an opportunity, a hidden gift that can teach us about ourselves and the world. When we face hardship, we are invited to look closely and gently at our experience. What does this difficulty ask of us? What can we learn? Problems often become teachers in disguise, helping us grow stronger and wiser. One story tells of a young student who was discouraged after many failures in meditation. She felt she would never find peace. Her master said softly, "Each failure is like a stone in your shoe. It may cause pain, but it also reminds you to walk carefully and mindfully. This story shows that obstacles are not simply blocks but messages that help us adjust and develop deeper understanding. In Zen, resilience is closely connected to acceptance and patience. When difficulty arises, the first step is to stop fighting the situation with the mind and heart. Instead, we breathe deeply, acknowledge the challenge, and open ourselves to what is without judgment or resistance. This openness allows our strength to grow naturally, like a tree bending in the wind instead of breaking. Obstacles can also help us discover resources we did not know we had. Sometimes we find new compassion for ourselves and others or a deeper sense of purpose. Each struggle invites us to develop qualities like perseverance, humility, and courage. There is a beautiful Zen teaching about bamboo. Bamboo bends easily in storms but does not break. After the storm passes, it stands straight and strong again. Like bamboo, resilience is not about rigid toughness but flexible strength. It allows us to adapt and recover, growing more resilient each time we face hardship. Another story tells of an old Zen master who faced great loss and loneliness. Instead of turning away from his pain, he welcomed it as a close friend, learning from its silent language. Through this acceptance, he found a peace that no external situation could take away. The obstacles in life became stepping stones toward inner freedom. Zen also teaches that resilience is a practice, not something fixed or achieved once and for all. Like training a muscle, each time we meet difficulty with a calm and open mind, our resilience grows stronger. Even when we stumble or feel weak, we can return gently to patience and kindness for ourselves, remembering that growth happens little by little. Sometimes resilience means knowing when to take a step back, to rest, to heal, or to seek support. It is a mistake to think resilience means facing everything alone or without care. Zen wisdom encourages us to listen to our needs and to accept help, knowing that this too is part of strength. Obstacles may also teach us about impermanence. No matter how difficult a situation feels, it will change and evolve. When we keep this in mind with steady awareness, fear lessens and hope grows. Life's challenges are like waves on the ocean. Each one arrives, moves through, and eventually fades, making way for calmer waters. A story often shared is about a monk traveling through rough mountains who encountered a fierce storm. Instead of fighting the wind or rushing forward, he found a quiet cave to shelter in and waited patiently. When the storm passed, the path was clearer and safer. This story reminds us that sometimes resilience is simply learning to wait with trust until conditions improve. In everyday life, resilience might show up as a deep breath when frustration rises, or a small step forward when the way feels uncertain. It might be a quiet choice to forgive, to start again, or to see beyond immediate hardships. These little acts, repeated over time, weave a strong thread of courage and peace through our lives. Zen encourages us also to notice the moments of quiet strength that already exist inside us. Times when we have faced pain and survived, when we have kept compassionate hearts or gentle smiles despite challenges. These moments are the roots of resilience deeply planted in our being. When we hold ourselves kindly and stay present with life's difficulties, we cultivate not only resilience but also wisdom and compassion. We come to understand that suffering does not weaken us but can awaken a powerful love and clarity hidden beneath. The path of overcoming obstacles is not always clear or easy, but it is always sacred. Each difficult step we take is a step toward healing and awakening. With gentle courage, We learn that even the hardest stones can be polished by our steadfast presence and kindness until they shine. Remember, you do not walk this path alone. The Zen tradition has walked it for centuries, and each person's experience adds to the shared courage and wisdom. Whenever you feel heavy or lost, return to the truth of resilience. The river flowing, the bamboo bending, the storm passing. These images hold a steady truth. You can move through hardship with grace. May you carry this teaching softly in your heart. When obstacles arise, may you meet them with patient strength, gentle acceptance, and quiet hope. May your resilience grow like a tree rooted firmly yet bending freely in life's winds. And as you walk forward, know that every challenge is a chance to discover the tenderness and power already within you. A power that heals, transforms, and lights the way to peace. Let your heart stand strong like bamboo and flow like the ever-moving river. With each step, embrace the lessons of resilience, and may they guide you gently toward a life of deep healing and radiant freedom. The Mind and Its Illusions. Zen Stories on Perception. Let us gently turn our attention inward and explore one of the most subtle and profound teachings of Zen: the nature of the mind and the illusions it weaves. Our mind is a powerful force, shaping how we see the world and ourselves. Yet, sometimes it creates images and stories that cloud our understanding and bring confusion and suffering. Zen invites us to look deeply at these illusions and to awaken to the clarity and truth that lie beyond them. Imagine walking in a dense forest where thick fog surrounds you. The shapes you see might be twisted shadows, and the path seems unclear. Your mind, like this fog, can sometimes bend reality, making fears larger, doubts louder, or happiness seem distant. Zen teaches us that much of this fog arises from the way the mind interprets experience, often mixing truth with imagination, memory, and habit. One of the beautiful gifts of Zen is the way it helps us see through this fog, the illusions that keep us trapped in unnecessary suffering. When we begin to understand how the mind works, we find a freedom that comes from not taking every thought or feeling as an unshakable truth. A famous Zen story illustrates this teaching simply and warmly. A monk asked his master, "How can I quiet my restless mind? It is always busy with thoughts, worries, and fears." The master replied, "Your mind is like the sky, sometimes covered with clouds, sometimes clear and open. When the clouds pass, the sky is always there." This story reminds us that beneath every anxious or troubled thought, there is a vast, peaceful space, a mind free from distortion. Our minds tend to create stories about ourselves and the world, a past that may haunt us, a future we fear, and identities we cling to. These stories can become like invisible prisons, blocking our ability to live freely and fully. Zen encourages us to gently notice these stories, to see them as passing clouds rather than eternal truths, and to rest in the open sky of pure awareness. Consider the tale of a traveler who once believed a terrifying dragon lurked nearby. He was filled with fear whenever he walked through the forest. After a while, he met a wise teacher who simply told him, "Look carefully." When the traveler finally faced his fear, he saw the dragon was only a shadow cast by a tree, shaped by his own imagination. This parable tells us how often our fears are illusions built by the mind, and when we look closely, their power dissolves. The mind also tends to cling to fixed ideas about who we are, what life should be, and how things must unfold. Zen calls these attachments delusions, for they hide the reality of constant change and interconnectedness. When we hold tightly to these fixed ideas, we close the heart and limit our vision of what is truly possible. There is a gentle teaching in Zen about mirrors and reflections. Imagine a mirror covered with dust. It cannot reflect clearly. Our minds can be like that dusty mirror, clouded by illusion and distraction. The Zen practice is like cleansing the mirror, washing away the dust with patience and kindness until it shines clear and true, reflecting life just as it is. Illusions often arise from our desire for permanence in a world that is always changing. We want to hold on to people, feelings, or moments forever, but life moves like a river, ever flowing and changing. When the mind resists this truth, it creates suffering, stories of loss, fear, and separation. Zen invites us to rest in the present moment, where the truth of impermanence softly dissolves illusions. Another beautiful story speaks of a king who was troubled by his restless mind. One day, a wise monk gave him a mirror and said, "Look into this mirror to find your true self." The king saw many reflections: happy, sad, angry, calm, but none was permanent. The monk explained, "Your mind is like these reflections, always changing, never one fixed thing. To find peace, do not grasp at reflections, but know the clear space that holds them all." This teaching helps us see that our true nature is beyond the illusions of changing thoughts and feelings. Zen also uses questions called koans, short paradoxical stories or riddles, to help break down illusions and open the mind. One well-known koan asks, "What is your original face before your parents were born?" This is not a question to be answered with logic, but an invitation to look beyond identity, thought, and story into the pure existing of being itself. Our attachment to the self-image, the I we carry, is one of the biggest illusions. Zen teaches that this self is not a solid, unchanging entity but a flowing, interconnected process. Realizing this truth gently dissolves fears and separations, opening the way to compassion, peace, and freedom. When illusions fade, a kind of quiet joy often appears, not from achieving or gaining something new, but from seeing clearly what was always here. This joy is calm, steady, and soft like the light of dawn that spreads slowly and warmly. Practicing mindfulness and meditation helps us notice our illusions as they arise. When a worrisome thought or a painful emotion comes, instead of getting caught in the story, we watch it with kindness and curiosity. We see how it moves, how it changes, and how it is not the whole truth. This gentle witnessing loosens the grip of illusion and helps the mind settle naturally. It is important to remember that the mind is not our enemy. It is a wonderful tool that helps us navigate life and experience beauty and love. Zen asks us to be wise with the mind, not to fight it or suppress it, but to understand its nature and work skillfully with it. The story tells of a warrior who struggled to control his sharp sword, the mind. One day, a teacher showed him that if the sword is clenched too tightly, the hand holding it will tremble and tire. But if the sword is held with relaxed strength, it moves swiftly and surely. Like the sword, the mind moves best when it is alert but relaxed, aware but free. Our perceptions color how we experience everything. The same event can bring joy or sorrow, depending on how the mind interprets it. Zen teaches us to see things freshly and clearly, without the filters of habit, fear, or desire. This fresh seeing is like the first morning light after a long night. The world appears new, bright, and full of possibility. We also learn to rest in the natural silence beneath thoughts, a stillness that holds all experience gently. This silence is not empty or dull but alive and warm, a source of calm and joy that is always available. Sometimes, the mind may resist this quiet, pulling us back into old patterns of fear or confusion. Zen encourages patience and gentle kindness with ourselves when this happens. Like a child learning to walk, we return again and again to practice, learning slowly and steadily. When we begin to see through illusions, our relationships with others soften. We become less reactive and more understanding, knowing that everyone is shaped by their own fears and stories. Compassion naturally grows as we recognize our shared human condition. A heart touched by illusions, but also capable of deep love and connection. As you explore the nature of your mind, remember that clarity is a gradual unfolding. Be gentle with yourselves. Each moment you notice an illusion is a moment of awakening. Each breath grounded in truth is a step toward deep freedom. May you come to know the bright sky behind the clouds of your thoughts. May the stories you carry gently unravel, revealing the clear and spacious heart that has always been with you. Remember, the mind is like water, sometimes stirred by waves, sometimes calm and reflective. With practice, patience, and loving attention, you can learn to float peacefully on this water, seeing clearly the reflections and the depths beneath. Let us continue together on this path, opening softly to the truth beyond illusion, embracing the quiet joy of clarity, freedom, and gentle wisdom. This is the heart of Zen, where the mind rests and healing deeply flows into all that you are. Discovering joy in stillness. Let us slow our breath and settle gently into the embrace of stillness, a precious gift that Zen offers to every heart. Stillness is not just the absence of noise or movement, but a deep presence, a peaceful space within where joy quietly blooms. In this place of calm, we discover a happiness that does not depend on anything outside and does not fade with time. It is the joy of being truly here, fully alive in the simple moment. Imagine a quiet lake at dawn. The surface is so clear and calm that it perfectly reflects the sky and trees around it. This clear stillness is like the mind when it rests, free from racing thoughts and worries. In Zen, we learn that when the mind is still, there is a deep joy that arises naturally, like the sun shining effortlessly after the long night. Often in our busy lives, we chase after happiness like a squirrel chasing nuts, running from one thing to another, hoping the next find will fill the emptiness inside. Yet this rushing can make the heart tired and restless. Zen teaches us to stop the chase and return to the quiet center within, where joy waits patiently, soft and sure. One story from old Zen teachings tells of a monk caught up in worries about the future. His master took him outside and asked him to sit silently by a tree. At first, the mind of the monk was noisy and unsettled, but as he breathed in and out, he began to notice the gentle rustling of leaves, the soft touch of the breeze, and the warmth of the sun on his face. Slowly, his busy thoughts calmed, and a peaceful happiness filled his heart. The master then smiled and said, "Joy is not found in seeking, but in resting quietly with what is." Stillness might seem empty or boring in the beginning because we are so used to distraction and busyness. But with gentle patience, it becomes a sanctuary, a loving home where the heart can breathe freely. In this peaceful space, we meet ourselves completely, without the need to fix or control anything. This acceptance is the seed from which deep joy grows. The practice of meditation in Zen invites us to explore this stillness more fully. By simply sitting quietly and paying gentle attention to our breath, we learn to rest in the present moment. Sometimes the mind will wander, but with kind patience we bring it back, like returning a small child to safety. Each return deepens our connection to stillness and the joy it holds. Another gentle teaching comes from a story about a young girl who felt lonely and sad. Her grandmother gave her a small bowl of water and told her to watch the surface until it became clear. At first, the water was muddy as the girl's heart was troubled. But as she waited quietly, the mud slowly settled to the bottom, and the water shone pure and bright. This story is a beautiful reminder that stillness clears the heart and the mind, revealing the light of joy that was always there. In stillness, we also find a way to let go of past hurts and future fears. When the mind is quiet, it stops spinning stories and worries, allowing old wounds to soften. The heart feels lighter as the heavy weight of doubt and sadness melts away. This healing comes gently, like the dawn light dispelling night's shadows. Joy found in stillness is not a fleeting spark, but a steady flame that burns softly inside. It does not depend on having everything perfect or on external happiness. Instead, it flows from the deep knowing that life is happening right now, fully and wonderfully, just as it is. This joy invites us to appreciate the simplest gifts: a breath, a smile, a kind word, the touch of a hand, or a moment of silence between sounds. When we slow down and open ourselves fully to these small wonders, we discover how rich and full life truly is. Zen stories often speak of joy as a natural state beneath the swirling clouds of desire, fear, and restlessness. Like the moon's steady light shining through drifting clouds, joy remains constant and unchanged beneath life's changing moods. Sometimes, the deepest joy arises not only from peaceful moments but also from embracing life fully, joy and sorrow together. In Zen, joy is not separate from pain. Rather, it is the openness of heart that allows all feelings to flow without resistance. This openness brings a lightness that surprises and delights the soul. A famous Zen poem captures this gently. Though the winds howl and the rain falls, still, the lotus blooms calmly in the pond. This image reminds us that joy can bloom within us, no matter the storms outside. Stillness is the fertile ground where this joy takes root. In our daily lives, finding stillness may mean pausing for a few breaths before starting a new task, listening deeply to a friend, or simply noticing the silence between sounds. These pauses create gentle spaces where joy can arise naturally. We may notice that the more we practice stillness, the less the mind resists being present. The restless search for happiness quiets, and the heart learns to rest lovingly with itself. In this resting, a profound peace and joy unfold, soft, steady, and endlessly renewing. Stillness also teaches us humility and patience. It shows us that happiness cannot be forced or grabbed, but must be welcomed with openness and gentleness. Like tending a flower garden, we care for stillness with kindness and watch quietly as joy blossoms. The healing power of stillness touches all aspects of life. It soothes strained relationships, calms anxious thoughts, and restores balance when we feel overwhelmed. Even the simplest moments of still awareness can bring a deep refreshment that revives the spirit. Zen teaches that stillness is the door through which we step into the heart of life itself. Beyond labels, expectations, and noise lies a quiet foundation where joy, love, and peace are always ready to greet us. May you come to know the stillness deeply, as a warm embrace that holds you tenderly. May each breath guide you gently into the calm space where joy lives undisturbed. Let this joy be your constant companion, lighting your path softly and surely. As you walk forward, carry the treasure of stillness in your heart. Let it nurture your wounds, quiet your mind, and open you to the endless beauty of the present moment. In this gentle resting place, may you find healing, happiness, and the radiant peace that is the true essence of Zen. With every breath and every step, may stillness lead you home, to the quiet joy waiting patiently inside, always inviting you to come and sit down, rest, and be wholly alive. The teacher and the student. Zen Dialogues. Let us sit quietly together and open our hearts to the gentle dance between teacher and student, a sacred relationship at the heart of Zen. This bond is not just about lessons from books or words spoken. It is a deep exchange of presence, trust, and awakening. Through this living connection, wisdom flows softly, healing grows steadily, and hearts open gently to life's mysteries. In Zen, the teacher is not a distant figure of authority but a guide who walks alongside the student. The master's role is to help the student see beyond the surface of things, to look directly into the nature of mind and being. The teacher often uses simple stories, questions, silence, or even gestures to open the way, to show that truth cannot be captured by words alone, but must be felt and known in the heart. In this sacred dialogue, the student is not a passive listener but an active seeker. The student brings curiosity, openness, and sometimes doubt or struggle. These are valued because they spark deeper inquiry and greater awakening. The student's questions are not just about information but about touching the very core of existence. One of the most beloved Zen stories tells of a student who asked the master, "What is the path to enlightenment?" The master did not offer a long explanation. Instead, he simply raised his hand and struck a wooden block sharply with a stick. The sound filled the room, clear and present. The master said, "This is the path." Through this simple action, the student was invited to awaken to the immediacy of the present moment. The true path is here, alive in each breath and sound. This exchange captures the heart of Zen teaching, not relying on words or concepts, but pointing directly to experience. Sometimes the questions and answers come in the form of koans, strange puzzles meant to dissolve ordinary thinking and open the mind to new ways of seeing. One famous koan asks, "What is your original face before your parents were born?" It invites the student to look beyond identity, history, and self-image, to meet the pure essence of being. The teacher's silence can be as powerful as any words. When a student struggles or is confused, the master might simply remain quiet, inviting the student to discover answers through stillness and presence rather than explanation. This silence holds a vast space for growth, like the calm center of a spinning wheel. The relationship between teacher and student also reflects deep compassion and patience. The teacher sees the student's unique journey and meets them exactly where they are, offering guidance without judgment or hurry. Growth in Zen happens naturally, in its own time, like the unfolding of a flower bud. A story describes a student feeling discouraged because enlightenment seemed far away. The master said calmly, "Come sit at my side. We share breath, step by step." This reminds us that the path is not a race but a shared walking, a companionship on a winding road where each step matters. Learning from a teacher is also a lesson in humility, releasing the idea that we must have all the answers or control our progress. Instead, the student learns to surrender the small selves, trusting the process that unfolds through practice and presence. In these dialogues, there is no place for pride or fear. The student learns to face questions openly, even the uncomfortable ones. The teacher's role is to hold this openness gently, creating a safe place where transformation can happen. It's important to remember that a true teacher is not someone who simply transmits knowledge, but one who helps reveal the wisdom already present in the student's own heart. The teacher reminds us that all beings are inherently whole and awake, and the journey is about unveiling this truth rather than acquiring something new. Sometimes the teacher is found in unexpected moments or places, not just in formal settings. A kind word from a stranger, a moment of natural beauty, or a quiet insight during meditation can serve as a gentle teacher's touch. Zen invites us to cultivate the heart of a student always curious, humble, and attentive to life's many lessons. The dialogue between teacher and student is also a reflection of the inner conversation within ourselves. We each carry a wise teacher inside, a still, compassionate presence that listens, guides, and encourages. Through meditation and mindfulness, we learn to hear this inner voice clearly. A beautiful Zen metaphor compares the teacher-student relationship to water and riverbank. The river flows freely but is shaped and guided by the banks. The students are the river, full of life and movement, and the teacher is the bank, steady and supportive, helping the river find its path without forcing it. Trust is the foundation of this relationship. The student must trust the teacher's guidance and the process of inquiry, even when the way seems unclear. The teacher trusts the student's innate wisdom and capacity to awaken. Together, they create a sacred space where healing and transformation bloom. This bond is alive with respect for the present moment. Each conversation, question, and silence holds the power to open a door. The teacher does not offer easy answers but points toward a direct experience beyond thought and words. In everyday life, we can practice this teaching by becoming open students to ourselves and the world. When difficulties arise, when joy blooms, or when doubts surface, we bring a curious, beginner's mind, ready to learn, ready to listen, ready to grow. May you carry this gentle dialogue in your heart. Let it remind you to seek wisdom not just in books or teachings, but in the living presence between teacher and student. In every question asked with openness, every word spoken with kindness, and every silence held with love. As you walk your path, may you find trusted teachers and also awaken the teacher within yourselves. Through this sacred exchange, may your heart open ever wider, your mind grow ever clearer, and your spirit become bright with the gentle light of understanding. Let the dance of teaching and learning continue in the quiet spaces between words, the pauses in conversation, and the depths of your own being. This is the living heart of Zen, where healing words are spoken softly, and deep wisdom flows freely like a clear spring. May this teaching nurture your journey, offering companionship and light in every step. And may you always remain a humble student, open and awake, ready to receive the precious gift of awakening present in all our shared moments. Interconnectedness, oneness, kindness, and universal care. Let us gather quietly and open our hearts to one of the most beautiful and gentle teachings of Zen: interconnectedness. This teaching shows us how deeply we are all connected, not just as people but with the whole wide world around us. It reminds us that nothing in life exists alone, that every part touches every other part in a great web of life. To understand this truth is to awaken kindness and care, not only for ourselves but for all beings. Imagine a spider's web, delicate yet strong. When one part of the web moves, the vibrations travel through the whole structure. In the same way, our lives are linked in ways both seen and unseen. Our actions, words, and feelings ripple outward, touching others and the world around us. This understanding is the heart of interconnectedness. Zen gently teaches that the separate self we usually think we are is like a drop of water believing it exists only by itself. But when we look more deeply, we see that the drop is part of the vast ocean, inseparable and flowing as one. This realization brings a warmth of oneness, a sense that to care for another is to care for ourselves. The feeling of oneness often blooms naturally when we open our eyes and hearts to the world around us. In the smile of a stranger, the song of a bird, or the quiet strength of a tree, everything shares the same breath of life. When we remember this, we feel a soft kindness growing inside, a desire to protect and nurture life's fragile beauty. A gentle story from Zen tells of a monk walking through a forest. Suddenly, he heard a small bird caught in a net. Without hesitation, he reached out gently, freeing the bird. The bird flew up and sang joyfully, and the monk felt a deep happiness in his heart. This simple act showed that kindness flows naturally from seeing our shared lives, and even small care can ripple into great joy. Interconnectedness also teaches us that our happiness and suffering are not separate from others. When someone suffers, the heart that recognizes this connectedness feels a shared sorrow and wants to ease the pain. Likewise, when joy appears in the world, it is a joy that all can partake in together. This unity nurtures compassion and dissolves barriers of fear and separation. Zen stories often remind us of this by pointing to nature's harmony, how rivers meet the sea without losing their own identity, how seasons follow each other, each necessary and beautiful, how the sun and moon dance in the sky, a perfect balance of giving light and quiet. We too belong to this vast and living whole. The tender teaching of interconnectedness encourages us to practice kindness not only to those close but also to strangers, animals, plants, and even the earth itself. The small acts of care, smiling, listening, helping, are seeds that grow into a world where all beings flourish. When kindness flows freely, healing spreads like gentle rain after a long drought. At times, it can feel challenging to hold this big truth in our hearts because the world shows us pain, conflict, and separation. Yet Zen teaches that these difficulties arise because we forget our unity and cling to division. By returning again and again to the awareness of oneness, we dissolve the walls between self and other, seeing everyone as part of the great family of life. One story speaks of a traveler who was hurt by others and became angry and distant. A wise master told him, "Look closely. The tree that shelters the bird also takes in the wind. To live clearly, you must open your heart like the tree, embracing friends and storms alike." This story speaks of embracing life fully, with all its friendships and challenges, as part of the whole. Interconnectedness also calls for responsibility. When we know our actions affect the whole, we choose with care. The way we speak, think, and act sends ripples outwards. This mindful living is a gentle practice that gradually transforms not only ourselves but the world. Zen encourages us to see ourselves in others, their joys, fears, and hopes, as reflections of our own. In this reflection, healing begins. When we cry with someone else's pain or rejoice with their happiness, the barriers between me and you soften and fade. Furthermore, interconnectedness invites humility. It reminds us that no one is an island. We all need the help, love, and support of others to grow and heal. This humility helps us to let go of pride and judgment, opening our hearts wider to acceptance and love. A touching Zen teaching says, "If you want to know your true nature, look to the world and see yourself reflected in every face, every flower, every breeze." This reflects the depth of unity in all things, a truth that is both tender and powerful. Connectedness also frees us from loneliness. When we grasp deeply this vast network of life, we realize we are never truly alone. In that awareness, even solitude becomes a sweet companion, a chance to rest in the embrace of all existence. In meditation, we can sit quietly and gently feel the flow of breath, how it connects us to the air, the earth, the sun. Each inhalation brings the world into us. Each exhalation returns us to the world. This cycle is a dance of oneness, reminding us of our place in the endless unfolding of life. The practice of interconnectedness also nurtures gratitude. When we recognize the many unseen hands that support our lives, the earth that feeds us, the kindness of others, the wonders of nature, our hearts fill with thankfulness. This gratitude is a gentle healing balm, opening us further to love and peace. In everyday life, embracing interconnectedness can be as simple as noticing a smile exchanged with a passerby, caring for a plant, or listening deeply to a friend's story. These small moments, offered with open hearts, weave a tapestry of love and healing across our days. As we grow in this awareness, our fears of difference fade. We begin to see diversity not as division but as a beautiful expression of life's richness, each being unique yet deeply connected, like many colors blending in one radiant light. Zen reminds us that this awareness of unity is not just a thought but a living experience, felt in the heart, expressed in kind actions, and carried in every breath. This awareness knits together healing and compassion, forming the foundation for a peaceful and joyful life. May you carry this sweet teaching softly in your heart. Let the warmth of interconnectedness flow through you like a gentle river, touching all who come near. May your kindness grow boundless, embracing all beings with tender care. Let your days be filled with acts of love, large and small, knowing each one strengthens the web of life and brings healing deeper into the world. And when times are hard or dark, may the light of connectedness remind you that you are held and supported by the vast heart of all existence. Together, as one, let us walk gently on this earth, aware, kind, and loving, knowing that each step we take is a step toward healing, peace, and the unfolding of a great and beautiful oneness. With each breath, feel the life that flows through all things, and let this truth settle warmly in your soul. This is the heart of Zen, where oneness blooms, kindness flows, and healing never ends. Courage to change, wisdom for inner strength. Let us gently sit together and open our hearts to one of the most precious treasures in Zen, the courage to change. Change might seem difficult or even frightening at times. We may feel stuck in old ways of thinking, habits, or fears that hold us tightly. But Zen softly teaches that change is not only natural, it is a doorway to freedom, growth, and deep healing. Imagine a tree in a quiet forest. Each season, it lets go of its leaves, trusting that new ones will grow in time. Even when the wind bends its branches, the tree stands strong and opens to transformation. Like this tree, we too are always moving, shifting, and growing, even when it feels slow or uncertain. In our lives, change often arrives as a challenge. We may want to keep things as they are because it feels safe or familiar. Yet Zen invites us to greet change with a gentle bravery, a willingness to look honestly at what no longer serves us and to open softly towards something new. This courage is not loud or forceful but quiet and steady, like a warm light glowing within, guiding us through the darkness. One story tells of a young monk who was afraid to leave his home village. The master said kindly, "The river cannot flow if it clings to the same stone. To find your own way, you must let go and trust the movement of life." This teaching reminds us that courage to change is necessary for the heart to truly grow and find peace. Zen encourages us to see fear not as the enemy but as a signal, a gentle nudge that there is something ready to be transformed inside us. When fear arises, instead of pushing it away, we learn to meet it kindly, like a friend who needs understanding. This friend might seem scary at first, but with patience, we discover that courage and fear can walk side by side. Another precious teaching is that change begins with small steps. Just as the moon waxes and wanes gradually, so too does transformation unfold little by little. We don't have to rush or force the process. Each small mindful breath, each moment of awareness, is like a drop of water slowly carving a path through stone. Sometimes we struggle with habits or thoughts that feel like chains. Zen invites us to hold these with gentle attention, seeing clearly how they arise and fall away. Through this witnessing, the grip of old patterns softens. The heart opens to fresh possibilities that were always waiting quietly beneath the surface. A story from Zen lore tells of a master who placed a heavy stone in front of a student and said, "Carry this stone no longer than your arm." The student soon felt tired and dropped it. The master smiled and said, "You cannot carry burdens longer than your strength allows. Know when to let go and when to hold firm." This story teaches the wisdom of balance, the courage to change when needed and the patience to rest when necessary. Courage to change also means allowing ourselves to be imperfect. We may stumble, fall, or feel unsure, but these moments do not mean failure. They are part of the gentle unfolding. Zen teaches that the path itself is the practice, that the willingness to keep trying with kindness toward ourselves is the truest courage. When change happens, it often brings uncertainty. Like stepping into misty woods, the path may be unclear. But Zen encourages us to trust our inner light, the deeper wisdom that knows the way even when the eyes cannot see far ahead. This trust is the heart of resilience and peace. Inner strength is nurtured by patience. Sometimes change feels slow or invisible, and we wonder if progress is made. Yet, like the slow growth of bamboo deep underground, the most important transformations begin quietly, unseen. With steady care and faith, the roots of courage grow strong, ready to support a future bloom. Zen stories lovingly show us that every step toward change is a victory. A monk once said, "I may not have reached the mountain's peak, but I have left the valley behind." This is the gentle celebration of effort, the honoring of small victories that move us toward freedom and healing. The courage to change also connects deeply with compassion, especially self-compassion. Sometimes the hardest part of change is forgiving ourselves for past mistakes or limitations. By holding ourselves tenderly, we find the strength to let go of old hurts and welcome new growth with open arms. Another beautiful Zen teaching speaks of the butterfly. Before it can fly, it must struggle free from its cocoon. The struggle is painful, yet it is this very effort that builds the butterfly's wings strong and ready for the sky. This story reminds us that struggle is a part of change, and within it lies the power to emerge more whole and free. Zen encourages us to look at change not as a threat but as a dance, sometimes slow, sometimes fast, always moving. When we allow the dance to unfold with openness and curiosity, we discover joy even in the moments of challenge. One especially tender teaching is that true courage does not mean never feeling afraid. Rather, it means feeling fear fully and still choosing to move forward step by small step. Like a quiet flame flickering in the night, this courage may be soft, but it is steady and unbreakable. In everyday life, the courage to change can show in gentle acts. Speaking a difficult truth with kindness, trying a new way of thinking, or simply pausing to breathe deeply instead of reacting quickly. These small choices add up like ripples in a still pond, spreading wide and changing the shape of our inner world. Zen teaches that support is always near. We may walk alone or surrounded by companions, but the wisdom of the ages, the presence of the universe, and the deep well of our own heart are all steady sources of strength as we change. When doubt or fear arise, we can turn inward to this well of peace, finding the courage to take the next step. May your heart be gently strengthened by this teaching. May the courage to change blossom softly within you, like a tender shoot reaching toward the sun. May you walk your path with patient bravery, embracing growth and healing as natural parts of your beautiful journey. Each breath is a chance to begin again. Each moment holds the possibility for gentle transformation. May you know the quiet power within that supports you through every change. Steady, warm, and radiant as the light of dawn. Let your courage be like the river, flowing freely yet steady and sure. Let it guide you gently through the seasons of life, inviting healing and wisdom to grow in every step you take. With openness and kindness, walk forward with courage, knowing that change is not an end, but the very path of life and love unfolding before you. This is the heart of Zen's wisdom, a warm embrace of life's endless unfolding, held tenderly within your steady and brave heart. The miracle of the present moment. Come, let us gently rest together in the quiet embrace of the present moment, an ever-renewing gift that Zen calls the miracle of now. Often, our minds race in many directions, chasing memories of the past or worries about the future. Yet this moment, right here, holds infinite treasure. Zen teaches us that true life unfolds not in what was or might be, but in the simple, beautiful reality of the present. Imagine a single drop of dew shining on a leaf at dawn. In that drop, the sunlight, the sky, and the whole world are reflected. Though tiny and fragile, it carries the fullness of life. This is how the present moment holds all experience, vast and complete, though often unnoticed. When we learn to live in the now, we touch the heart of Zen's healing power. Our habit is to live distracted, our attention stretched thin by countless thoughts and tasks. But Zen invites us to come back again and again to this moment, to breathe, to listen, and to simply be. It is here, in the present, that healing begins, joy blooms, and peace settles softly within. A story from Zen tells of a master who invited a student to a quiet garden. The student's mind buzzed with questions about enlightenment, but the master said gently, "Look closely at this flower." The student watched the blossom, the color, the shape, the way the petals opened to the sunlight. In that attentive observing, the student's restless mind quieted, and a deep calm arose. This story reminds us that awakening happens not by searching elsewhere, but by fully embracing what is here now. The present moment is like a meeting place where all time converges. The past is memory, the future is imagination, but the present is real, alive, and tender. Zen shows us that by quieting the mind's chatter and opening ourselves fully to now, we connect with a peaceful wellspring that never dries. We often think happiness depends on future events, a goal reached, a problem solved, or a wish fulfilled. Yet, the present moment teaches us a profound secret. True happiness arises when we stop waiting and start noticing the simple gifts of the here and now. A breath, a smile, a gentle breeze, or even the silence between sounds. Breathing is a gentle gateway to the present. Each breath we take anchors us softly to now. When you feel scattered or overwhelmed, returning your attention to the breath is like coming home, to a safe, loving refuge within. Breath is always here, always steady, a quiet friend ready to guide you back whenever you wander. A beautiful poem from Zen whispers this truth. In the blink of the eye, the whole universe is new. Just one breath, awake. This speaks to the fresh wonder available in every moment when we open ourselves fully. Zen also teaches that time, as we commonly understand it, is a construct held by the mind. The only true moment is now. Clinging to past regrets or future hopes pulls us away from this truth, dimming the light of life's immediacy. When we rest in the present, time unfolds naturally, and we live fully in rhythm with existence. The present moment mirrors a peaceful lake. When the water is still and clear, it reflects everything around it perfectly. When the mind is calm and centered, experience comes alive with clarity and warmth. This mindful presence is the heart of Zen practice, living awake and aware in each moment. There is a tender story about an old monk who was asked how to find peace. He said, "Wear yourself like a flower wears its fragrance, fully in the present." This image invites us to embody life completely here and now, with gracious openness and gentle acceptance. Sometimes the present moment is soft and calm. Other times it is full of challenge or pain. Zen does not ask us to run from difficulty, but to meet whatever arises with gentle attention. To live in the now is to open to all of life's colors: joy, sorrow, hope, and fear, with kindness and courage. Practicing this can begin in very small ways. Feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, listening deeply to a bird's song, or savoring a single bite of food with full attention. These simple acts are windows into the miracle that the present holds. Mindfulness meditation is a quiet teacher for the present. Sitting peacefully, we learn to notice thoughts and feelings as they arise and fade, like clouds passing across the sky. We begin to see that these passing moments do not define us, but that beneath them lies a steady ground of stillness and presence. This presence is the source of peace that no circumstance can take away. Even in a storm, the eye is calm, and so can our hearts be anchored in the present moment's quiet embrace. Another story speaks of a traveler who was lost in a dark forest and could not find the way out. A Zen master told him, "Stop searching for a path. Sit down here and rest. The path will come to you when your heart is quiet." This teaches us that trying too hard to control or fix life's moments blinds us to the miracle already here, waiting quietly within. Living fully in the present also transforms our relationships. When we give someone our whole attention, listening deeply without distraction, we plant seeds of trust, love, and connection. Presence is the greatest gift we can offer to others and ourselves. Zen reminds us that the present moment is not just a time to endure, but a place of immense beauty and power. It is where healing unfolds, wounds soften, and the heart expands. Being fully here is itself a miracle, simple, timeless, and endlessly renewing. There is no need to wait for some grand event or future arrival to experience life's fullness. Each moment, lived with open heart and gentle awareness, is complete and whole. May you come to know this miracle deeply. When your mind wanders, may you gently bring it back to this breath, this feeling, this now. Let each moment be a step closer to peace, a quiet unfolding of joy, and a healing of every restless place. Carry the present softly in your heart like a precious jewel. Let it illuminate your path with warmth and clarity. And when the world feels heavy or fast, return gratefully to the miracle of this moment. Always here, always new, always enough. With every breath, every step, and every soft gaze, may you awaken fully to the gift of now. And in this awakening, find the gentle healing and boundless peace that Zen offers to all who listen with open hearts. Remember that the heart of Zen is not found only in meditation cushions or in moments of quiet solitude. It is alive in every breath, every step, every smile, and every choice to meet life as it is, fully, mindfully, and with kindness. This wisdom is always available to you, like a steady friend waiting quietly within, ready to support you when the winds blow strong. Life's journey unfolds with both shadows and sunlight. Some days the road feels smooth, and other days rocky and unclear. The teachings of Zen give us the tools to walk each day gently and steadily, with patience when things are hard, and gratitude when joy appears. Every experience is a teacher, every challenge an opportunity to return home to peace. As you move through your daily life, carry these practices softly. Mindfulness, acceptance, compassion, courage, and presence, like drops of rain nourishing the earth. These small acts of Zen can transform your world and the worlds of those around you, in ways you may never fully see but that ripple quietly and powerfully. I want to share one humble invitation with you. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of visitors subscribe. So, please, if these stories have touched your heart or brought a little calm to your day, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support helps us continue weaving these ancient teachings into messages of hope and healing for everyone seeking peace. Your presence means more than words can say. Now imagine the great sky above us, vast, open, and endlessly welcoming. Zen invites us to open our hearts in the same way. The sky of the mind is always present beyond clouds of worry or confusion, and it holds space for every feeling, every thought, every moment. When you feel lost or burdened, return your awareness gently there. Let this vast openness be your resting place. At the core of all Zen teaching is a loving reminder. You are not lost, you are not broken. Within you is a peaceful home, a clear, gentle light of awareness, wisdom, and love. This is your true nature, untouched by the storms of life. From this place, healing grows naturally and beautifully. Sometimes, simply remembering to breathe with kindness in your heart is enough to soften fear and open the way. Each breath is a bridge to this deeper peace, the bridge we have walked together in these stories, one mindful step at a time. Take a moment now. Close your eyes if you wish, and feel the gentle rhythm of your own breath. Know that in this breath, you touch the sacred life that flows through all beings, the same life that moved the great Zen masters, the quiet monks, the smiling farmers, and all who came before. This connection across time and space is a deep comfort and strength. Zen is a lifelong companion, unfolding with you moment by moment. There will be days of easy grace and days when the path feels dim. But always, beneath it all, the quiet wisdom remains steady, waiting to guide you home again. May your heart be filled with warmth and tenderness. May your mind find clarity and calm. And may your life be touched deeply by the gentle and healing light of Zen, carrying you through every joy and every challenge with steady kindness. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for opening your heart and allowing these stories to weave their quiet magic within you. May your days ahead be soft with peace, bright with wisdom, and rich with love. Go gently, friend, and remember, the healing stories of Zen are always with you. Whispers of light in every breath, every step, and every moment. This is wisdom woven, gently weaving peace into your life. If this journey has moved you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep the circle of healing growing wider. Until we meet again in the quiet spaces between breaths, may you be well, may you be kind, and may you always find your way home to the sweet stillness of your own heart.